Hello, Donut Donny here. Welcome back to the retro gaming series where we look back at old, classic, or maybe non-classic football management games that were released in the 1980s and early 90s, mostly on the ZX Spectrum. Now, by the time of this recording, we have done this series for about 4 months. Thank you very much for those who have watched this series so far. I hope you're enjoying it. But we're going to have a quickly go back to the ones that have already been released, and just to let you know where they all are, there is a playlist that's being created within my YouTube channel called the Retro Football Management Game Series. It's quite a mouthful there. And this is where you will see all the retro gaming episodes all in one place if you want to see them all. And it'd be really nice if you do go back and see some of these old episodes if you haven't seen them yet, because we have gone back to some really classic games. Like, for instance, gaming episode one was actually the Football Manager 1982, the one that really started it all. And as you can see, it was released 4 months ago. 51 views is a little bit disappointing. I think this game originally, this game really deserves a lot more views than just 51. For those who like statistics and stuff, the game that's having most views at the moment, actually out of all of them, is Tracksuit Manager, which is this one here. If we just quickly go through all the starting videos. So we can see here Tracksuit Manager, which is one of my all-time favorites, but it's a Marmite game. You either love it or hate it, because the way it's done, I personally love it. And Tracksuit Manager, as the time of this recording, has had 93 views. It'd be amazing if one of these episodes actually goes over 100, and I think Tracksuit Manager is the one that could go over 100. The thing is on YouTube is that every time I myself click onto these videos, it regards that as a view, which is a bit misleading because obviously I'm viewing my own video, so my own episode. So Tracksuit Manager is the one that has the most views at 93, but you can see here all these episodes have been released. They're all in a funny order here, which is a bit strange. We've got the classic Match Day, which is one of the non-football management games, but we had to put this in. It was such a good game, and you can hear me talking there. So I'm in white, but you can see all the color clashes already. Oops. Oh, I've got the ball. I don't know how I tackled, so pass it down the wing. See if I can find. Oh yeah, my player was there. Oh, throw in to Reading. Yeah, that was a good game. I enjoyed that. And then the episode two was actually on the bench. So again, you always have this intro music for you. So I have to quickly go in and stop that. So let's quickly have a quick look on the bench. It's only skill levels here. There's no energy levels in this game, of course. So when you go training, that these numbers can go. I think the maximum they go up to could be 20. I don't know for certain. But E to edit, that's good. So let's edit Stevens. So go back to normal. Of course, probably S, I guess, for sending. I can change the speed of these games, which is quite helpful. So we're approaching 13 minutes. We're approaching half time. There's actually no screen showing the goals on this. It's just this little screen you see here. So Torquay scored. On the Bench was another of my favourite games. I think I enjoyed playing this many years ago. Let's go through some of these episodes. Originally, I was going to do this episode playing a new game, but we're going to do that at the next episode, I think. In this episode, we're just going to have a retro look on the previous episodes that have been released already. We already looked at Match Day. That was so episode 4 was The Boss. The Boss was another of my favourite games. So we'll just every time we open the video, that bit will intro screen will come in, so I have to get in quickly to stop it. So let's have a quick look at The Boss, or Soccer Boss this is also called. This was released back in 1984. This is also one of my all-time favorites. Change the formation to 4-4-2. It should make me a little bit stronger. So 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, 4-4-2. Rating's now 4-2-2, so Lineker and Kane are up front. Gaza, Donut's only got a rating of 1. Oh dear. And Dennis is the goalie. You can see that little. Just saying that Gaza's got a rating of 1. Gaza's actually got a rating of 3. So I don't know what was on there. So let's see what the game looked like again on this, because that's what we like to see in actual game screens of the match actually being played. Here we go. I can make this go faster, but the good thing about this is when a goal is scored for us, you will actually see goal scorers. Now, did we actually see a goal scorer? Oh yeah, goals do happen. So you just have to be a little bit more patient. I can do this in about 15 seconds. You'll see a goal being scored. If there's a goal scored, of course. It's coming up in a minute. Would be typical. Oh, there's a goal. There's a goal. Oh, you do get goal scorers for the opposition as well. Kane has scored for Oxford. Oh, there's another one. So I have to say, the boss, Soccer Boss, this got 33 views. So again, no one that deserves a few more views, please. Soccer Boss is actually one of my favourites of all time. It's just so much into it, and it was a 1984 game, especially when you saw some late late 80s, early 90s games. How much lack of effort was put into them compared to some of these. Anyway, episode 5 was League Challenge. So let's have a quick look at League Challenge. So bit different game this one. QPR Spurs striker, Kerry Dixon, Reading and Chelsea striker in those days. Graham Sharp, Everton, I think. Speedy, I think he was Everton and Liverpool. So if you can correct me, please do. And then Charlie, and doesn't make much difference really. C to continue. There we go. C, and let's see what let's see what this match looks like. The review says it wasn't exactly very good. Oh my god. Oh my god, yeah, laser. See what they mean by the laser gun. This is a very... Oh, there's a goal by Oxford. No. Now, this is a pure example of a late 80s game. I think this was a budget one in its defense, but this was a late 80s game that they didn't put extremely as much effort as in the previous one, the Soccer Boss game that came out 4 years earlier. If you saw that game, that game compared to this one, you would think it's the other way around. That Soccer Boss came out in 88 and League Challenge in 84, where in fact it was, as you can see here, League Challenge came out in 88. Yeah, this is actually one of the games with the lowest views, 31, but it does get better with the double, which was the next episode released, which was done in 1987. Let's have a quick look at that one. See how we get on in a minute. I did enjoy this game. They're not around anymore in that shape anyway. Which should be the next game, Notts County. Here we go. So the double was quite a unique game where you can select all the players' names were true players, and there's so many teams in this game as well. Game came out in 1987. I really enjoyed this. I think the snag is you have to go through all the results, and you can imagine how slow this was on the Spectrum. Luckily on my PC here, I can speed up those games, but I really did like the double. We go to episode 7, which if I can find it, because these games are not in the order. Football Director 2. Now, this definitely was one of my all-time favourites. This was released on the ZX Spectrum 128, and you can see that by the amount of detail there was in this game. There was a lot of details in this, a lot, even sub-menus, you can see there. The graphics were pretty decent. I really enjoyed this game. The match screen, which looked pretty good compared to what you have to do, and you had training and stuff like that. But let's go to the actual game itself. So we'll move it on here. And here we go. So no actual match goal scoring highlights. You see that very rarely in 8-bit football management games. In fact, you just see this. Now, if I remember correctly, on the Amiga, you actually see the crowd coming in as pixels, and if it's a big crowd, you see a lot of pixels being filled. If you see a small crowd, then you see a lot of gaps, which I always remember when playing the game how great it looked then. Obviously, 2, I think it is. Could this turn up into a 0-0 game, I wonder? This is ×2 speed, by the way. So slightly faster than normal. Oh, John Aldridge has scored. That's our scorer, even though he's appeared under Stockport. I thought. Yeah, I actually did think that Stockport scored, but then I realised it was John Aldridge and for Oxford. So yeah, I really did enjoy Football Director 2. It will be one of those games we will go back to and play again. 84 views for this one, so it's quite popular with you guys. Uh, we go quickly to episode 8, Football Fever. Now this was quite an unusual game, and I enjoyed it. It was quite decent. And it was quite basic looking, though, 1986 game. And you can see here, we'll just go through some of these screenshots. We'll just go through. This is the actual game itself, so let's have a quick look at that. See, this is 1986, so this was 4 years after Football Manager 82 came out. And also, that's one thing about the my series is look ahead in a couple episodes' time. There will be Football Manager 1982, but 128K version, which was done only a few years ago. Someone came. Yes, we will see that one in a minute, actually. That's the wonders of looking back. It was actually episode 11 is what I was on about there. Episode 9 then, if I can try to find episode 9, was Football Glory. One of the more recent ones. Now, the company that did this game was Cult TV, who did many Football Manager games during the late 80s, early 90s. And what can I remember from Football Glory, the font was definitely odd. You can see here by the screenshots are going through now, and you can see if I enjoyed the game or not by how long the video was, by the way. That's kind of like a little giveaway there. And it had newspapers, like a basic newspaper screen here, which was quite good. And here's actually, let's just see a little bit of the game highlights and let myself comment it, talk about it. I'll see if I press the left or right. And for another thing about this is that it asked me to change the keys. No. Oh, actually, I could, if that home and away thing meant I could actually, first, we've seen that. So one of those rarities in the actual game is that we had quite a bit of sound, even though if it's just a little tap, 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 at least, because this is like a teleprinter. If in those olden days where you used to have, before you had laser printers and more up-to-date printers, you had teleprinters, which is like basically a typewriter stroke printer, which it typed from left to right, and you can see the paper moving up. Those were the days. Dot matrix, I think, is another word term for the printer. So yeah, it was quite a decent game, Football Glory, if I can remember. When we played it. Episode 10, then we go to, if I can find episode, Football of the Year. Now, Football of the Year 1, because I didn't like Football of the Year 2, hence why we didn't do it. Now, this was surprisingly, actually, when we did this video, by looking at the views, it only had 32 views. I thought Football of the Year, being a very popular game, would have a lot more views again. Again, I suppose it's one of those games that is you either love it or hate it. Now, warning here, there's a lot of loud sounds in this one, so you might hear some in a minute when we start playing the game. So here we go. This is, for instance, this is where the loud noises came in, and I forgot about this, and it nearly made me jump out of my seat here. But hopefully it wasn't too loud for you guys. So let's just have a quick look at this. Football of the Year was quite unusual game because it was kind of like stroke management, stroke card game, if that makes sense. You had certain cards which you can use in each game, and yeah, it was fun to play. I'm going to select 2 in the next one. So here we go. Here's the shots and goal I have. So that's me moving the cursor. Oh, that got saved. I'm going to see. Was that? Oh, I missed the goal mouth. So I missed both chances there. That's not a good start, is it? I did score that one though. Okay, this is the penalty. Shot down the middle and scored. Another. Oh, no, that one missed. Then I will. Yeah, Football of the Year definitely had a lot of sound. And it was a good game. I enjoyed it when it first came out. I did not enjoy Football Manager 2 so much. Football Manager 2 was a little bit more tricky to play, hence why I didn't really do the video on here. Sometimes some of these football management games don't work well now, and like the keys don't respond as well. So there might be some games you will never see because they just didn't work out well on the PC. So let's look at episode 11. Now this one was the longest episode to date. This was the Football Manager revisited version, and we will go back to this because I did enjoy this very much. So let's have a quick look at this for you. There's plenty of room for him to kick the ball. Is he going to aim straight for the goalie? No. That's 3. 4. Now there's a lot of really good things from this game. For instance, there were so many foreign leagues you can actually play for. This is the only game so far that you can actually go to another country and play in that game. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So let's just have another quick look at this. That's too much. We need. Oh, we got number 2, Graham Ricks. Let's try 45,000. Does he? And we got 23,000 for it. I suppose better than nothing. Oh, it's a 9% move fee. Jeez. So we got not as much money for him. Let's improve team morale. Actually, no, our morale's quite high as it is. It's about 15, isn't it? Something like that. Okay, that's not. I don't want to fit anything. Let's do some more publicity. Number 2. Publicity work. That's it. And let's show you the school football training. See how that gets on. 5%. Players lost 1 in energy. Morale 20, so we're up to the maximum morale now. That's good. So this is definitely one game I recommend to go back, and we'll definitely play again. This is what Football Manager 1982 would look like if it made onto the 128K. And there's so many new advanced features in this game compared to some of the other retro games. You can see why this was. You can see that by this game being made in the 2000s, how really good it is. And we will go back to this game, I think, and play more of this because it's worth looking into again. Now, episode 12 was the Footballer released. We go back to the basics again. So I did enjoy this. As again, what I do for all the retro series, we talk about the game a little bit, and then I'll go through this screen here, which we're still doing now, and then from the, I think it's World of Spectrum website, worth going into if you want to know a bit more details about the games. And sometimes they actually show you the ROMs, which is actually the game files, which you then can actually play it. And so we'll go and go and look at the Footballer and about it. And then what we do is we'll go through some of the screenshots here. Here's some of the screenshots going through very quickly, obviously. And we'll see what the game actually looks like. This is no, this is a bidding screen. There we go. Here's the game. So it updates the rest of the division. Oh, that's a goal. No sound whatsoever. So you got, including us, you got 3, 6, 9, 11, 24 teams in this league, which is good. No sound. Again, no sound in the games. That does happen a lot in these Football Manager games. 60 views though, so it's been quite popular. We go to episode 13. Episode 13, Tracksuit Manager. We've seen that already. The best viewing game of the series so far, 93 views. Again, it's worth watching all these again if you haven't seen most of these. We go then to episode 14, which was the First Division Manager. And again, it always starts off with my intro, so I'll skim through that. I enjoyed the First Division Manager. I actually thought there was a lot of decent options in here. The way it presents itself is quite unusual compared to other games. Like there's a filing cabinet, for instance, here, which you look through the league and players. There's a little desk screen here, which I thought was really funny. This is a game released in 1991, so one of the most recent games we had here. So we'll skip through all this, and then you had all these little phone calls where you can phone various people about various things, like the physio, your bank manager, Yeah, I thought there was a lot of thought made into this game. The only disappointment to the game was actually the match screen. This is the match itself, and you can see they did not spend exactly a lot of time on this, which they did spend a lot of time on other things, which I thought was slightly disappointing. But let's have just a quick few seconds look at the match. Oxford against Burnley. Like 10, 11, 12 all the time. Sometimes there might be a mini jump. Um, which as we're playing this, there's actually it's not doing a mini jump yet. So, but red is Burnley, blue is us. You can. So the actual placing of the ball is pretty good if you can actually make out the ball, and the ball's actually around here. This guy's actually got the ball at the moment, and yeah, I thought it was slightly disappointing the actual match screen, but the game itself I thought was really good. We go to episode 15 next, which is Kenny Dalglish's Soccer Manager, another game I enjoyed. Here we go again. So the screen is all different. You can see they're making a lot more effort into this. This was came out in 1989, and we'll just have a quick look at that one. Oh wow! So you got a good mixture of menus here. I like this. So what's that? That's your this is the actual team, and you notice there's no standard Chilton. So what's your team version? So don't be too surprised if the other version of this is different. We might. Aha! You just had to. So I'll skip through this. Yes, when I first got this game, there was of course two. I thought two different versions, but in fact it was actually the same version, just a slight change. So again, let's just go and look at the match screen, which is actually coming up very soon. Bit more detail here. So I don't know who's. Oh, Scarborough attacking. This is what. Oh God, good goal. Again, sorry. Bit of a coughing episode again. So Scarborough just scored that, and that was a good goal. And you get the name Scarborough. Okay, this is a lot more detailed than this is what I was expecting. Oh, look at that. Let's even do rebound shots, and we're losing 2-0. As always, when I play these games, we always don't have much luck. Oh, look, even penalty. Oh my God, that goalie is so slow. From what I can remember of this game, I really enjoyed it. This match highlights are really good. The goalies are awful in this game though, so bad. But it's another fun game. Right, we go to episode 16 now, and it was League Football. So I don't know why my playlist is just chunked out. So just bear with me for a second. I'm going to go back to my non. Let's go back to my channel. So we'll quickly just go back to our channel for a second. And here we go. Let's go to my channel. There we go. This is my channel, by the way. If you have never seen it, then please come. We go back to the retro gaming series when I can find it. There we go. It's right down here. He was a real Sheffield United player. Let's go back to 16, which was Kenny Dalglish. Oh, sorry, Kenny Dalglish was episode 15. God, even I don't know which is which. Let's go back to episode 16. What's episode 16? League Football. Here we go. League Football was the next episode we're looking at then. From what I can remember, 17 minutes. So it wasn't the best of games. And this was out in 1991. So another recent one, but this was okay. I think nothing too bad about it. You can see it's quite a colourful game compared to some of the others. Standard players' names from the late 80s, early 90s, and it was actually, yeah, I thought it was pretty decent. Had a lot of different things compared to other games. I'm trying to find the match screen here. Here we go, the match screen. Oh yes, I remember this match screen. Let's have a quick look at this. This is Watford. Oh, missed. Watford again in purple. Oopsie. Sorry, I'm drinking at the moment, drinking water because it's again very hot in this room. Ooh, it's my defender going to tackle. Goalie saved. It's all Watford at the moment. Yeah, as always in these games when we just start brand new, I always do very badly. My team always, yeah, it always the games that these football managing games can actually start very very hard actually for you to get into, for you to do well. Some are quite easy, but a lot of them you start off with not much money, and yeah, it can get very tricky. Episode 17 was Football Champions. Now we're going through these most recent ones that were released in 3-4 weeks, and again it was another game that 12 minutes, so that means it was a very quick game. So here we go. I do remember playing this actually many years ago, and yeah, I thought it was okay. It wasn't the best. You can see again, my tip is if I don't spend if I spend less than 15 minutes, I'm not exactly impressed by it, or there's just not a lot there. And I think this is certainly what happened in this game. Let's just have a quick look at the match day screen before you get to yours, and it also highlights who gets booked. So this is very similar to the double. So you have to go through all the other games before you can reach your game, and that could take a long time. Um, but it was definitely 3 divisions, so it definitely had the playability factor, I suppose you call it, of going into game and playing it. But you had the thing that I think could put a lot of people off is you have to go and see the scores from the other games before you even get to yours, and then when it gets to yours, you're only there for a split second, I think. But anyway, that was still a okay game. Episode 18, we're nearly there. British Super League. Now, British Super League, or as I called it in the episode, the Anglo-Scottish League, because there was no Welsh sides or Irish sides in this, so it couldn't really be called a British Super League. Again, another game which was all right. It had its advantages and disadvantages. So you can see some of the teams, and you can see there was no Irish teams in here, no Northern Irish or even Welsh teams. There should have been some of those. You had to go through all the teams listings, which I thought was a bit pointless. The actual selection screen was pretty decent, but you notice there none of the players actually had skill value. So don't know if if one player was better than the other. You had to actually, I think, scout each player to see what their value was. And yeah, it was all right. Again, I don't know why it is called British Super League when in fact there's no Irish or Welsh teams in here. And this is the match screen, so let's just have a quick look at that. Oh dear. And this is what the review said about the yeah, it's not exactly Football Manager, is it? Let's continue NFC. What the hell is that? Is a weird. You can see what I'm seeing when it highlights a bit of the pitch. I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm guessing that's where the ball's going. We're blue. Yeah, it's definitely a weird game, British Super League. Episode 19, so we're nearly there. Episode 19, which was just released about a week or so ago, was the match. Another 1991 game and another game by Cult TV. Again, this game, the font I remember wasn't exactly easy to read, but it was still pretty decent. Let's go back to the full screen. There we go. Yeah, I thought it was all right. The selection was quite decent. I've seen a lot worse than this. Transfer market again, you had to go and type the player name in before you even find the player you wanted. So there was no actually active transfer list in any of these games, which was quite surprising nowadays, but I suppose in those days it wasn't so much surprising. Now this is the match screen. This is very similar to a game we've previously seen in this episode. So obviously we're playing in blue, Berlin red. The player stats on this game are already better than the last one. I know this one was made in 91 and the British Super League was made in 89, but already I like the look of this game. It's got some sound, which is always a bonus for me. When I get a football game with sound, that's good. It's it's um it's a pretty quick game actually. Um, and so we get to the final episode, episode 20, which by the time of this recording actually not been released yet. So I won't say you'll see a sneak preview of it because by the time this one is released onto my YouTube channel, it is a week after episode 20 has been released, if that makes any sense, because every Saturday we release a new episode around 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 8 o'clock. The times do vary. So by the time I'm doing this recording, episode 20 had not been released, but by the time you've seen this episode, episode 20 had been released the week before. So a bit of a Doctor Who time warpy thing. But episode 20 was Advanced Soccer Simulator, and if I can remember, I actually really did enjoy this game. So let's have a quick look at that. I thought the match highlights was unique. The screens here were nicely laid out. I like the use of colour here. Players' names are all original, not like the standard Shilton, Lineker type player names. So I thought that was pretty good. The match highlights I really enjoyed, even though I didn't really do very well in these games. But let's have just a quick look at this. That goal in noise is awful. I don't know what these goalies are on, but I have to say, the goalies in this game are awful. How can Birmingham be winning? How can Birmingham win that? Yeah, this is another game where the goalies were like, you remember the tabletop game football games you used to play, against a friend or something like that, where you had to use your hand to move the goalie on the pole. This reminds me of this game. The goalies were just there to just stand still. If the ball was actually going to hit the goalie, then that would be a save because the goalie just got in the way. He didn't make a save or anything like that. But again, this was a pretty enjoyable game, and I did like it. It is definitely one of those games that I would recommend for you to play. It's very colourful, and yeah, it's definitely a good game to look at. Anyway, that is the full 20 games so far that have been released in the Retro Gaming series. Please have a look at all of them again. If you haven't seen any of them, then there are some really hidden gems in here. There are 20 episodes of them, over a good couple of hours worth, and it's worth looking at. Again, go into my channel, go to the Retro Football Management Game series, and you'll see them there. But this is going to be the end of the episode. This is quite a long episode. I hope you liked the look back at all the games so far. Going way back to the original Football Manager, which was episode 1. We'll just end the series. We'll end the episode. I'll get there in a minute. We end the episode with the first game of the series, Football Manager 1982. Which was done 4 months ago, and we will continue. There's still at least another 20 games to go through. Yes, there was loads of football management games. Some you probably never heard of, some you'll probably never hear of again. But I hope you have really enjoyed this series, and we will continue. But this is Donut Donny signing off with us just looking at Football Manager 1982 for the last few minutes or seconds, or very few seconds. Take care, everyone, and speak to you soon. Picks a winner. Well, again, if you've got a lot more better players on the opposing side, then you would probably win the game. 3. Now, a lot of you are saying, what is Division 3? Of course, this is back into the 1980s, so there's no Premier League. It's 7 against their 2. Midfield is 6 against their 7, so they've got slightly better midfield, but our attack is a lot more better. Stays aim, but our attack is a lot more better than theirs, so we should win this quite easily. Now, let's go into the game, and this is 41 years ago. We're in white, by the way. I'll keep quiet so you can hear this sound effects. There we go, 1-0 up. Doesn't tell you who scores it, but we're 1-0 up. Hopefully in the future episode you will see Football Manager 2 and how things have changed since then. Just an ending note, Football Manager 2 we never did in the end because that was one game that the keys did not respond very well when I was trying to make it work. So sadly we can't see Football Manager 2. Football Manager 2 was actually a very good game. Really enjoyed it. Football Manager 3 wasn't very good. I think the creator of Football Manager and Football Manager 2 left after Football Manager 3, and you can clearly see that. But anyway, that is Football Manager 1982, which was the very first episode we've done. And I hope you enjoyed looking back at all the other 19 that we've done so far. Again, more coming up very soon. And again, I will now say goodbye and speak to you soon. And please stay tuned for another episode coming out next week. Bye bye.